some conclusions. So the Russian forces are making a lot of headways in multiple fronts, particularly over at the Orkhiv sector of the Zaporizhia front. I think the Russians are going to, within a week or two, capture the entire of the salient, because based on the mining, if this mining operation, the remote mining is true, Ukrainians are giving up the salient, and which means that the Russians are going to be pretty much back to the initial line. This is where the initial line is when the Ukrainians started their counter-offensive operation. So no, it is, yeah, there is going to be a huge PR coup for the Russian side if they manage to do this. And the Russians are also not letting up with probing attacks at Huaypole, Luhivsky and Shebaki. Sometimes they attack at Kayamsky, sometimes at Petikaki. So no, and then sometimes they attack over at the Nestelianka region or towards Novodanilivka. So and also, of course, sometimes they also attack at Malatamashka region. So all these probing attacks is just pulling Ukrainians apart in multiple directions, and forcing them to not able to focus on just this one front line. And of course, I think the situation over at the Donetsk front is pretty much pro-Bish. But again, I always mention Zorda Neva as the weak spot. The Russian push in this direction is going to be devastating for the Ukrainians. And this front line here is very slow, tentatively. The rumors about the fighting at Krasnohorivka, I will still need time to look at my sources to see whether they have anything up for me to report on that. Avdiivka is going to be doomed. Ukrainian forces' strong defense lines is here. There is a break in this area here where the Russians can make this massive push. And given the speed of the front line change, over 2 days, we are talking about this much change. This entire area, even zoom out this much, we can see it, means this line has collapsed. The Ukrainian forces over this area here is getting routed. And if this routing continues, it will turn into a massive rout, which means you're going to look a lot like the Kharkiv offensive situation, where the Russians, not Kharkiv, in our reporting, we call it the Balaklia offensive, where the Ukrainians routed the Russian forces and pushed them all the way towards the eastern part of Oskil River. This could have similar visuals to that. The next heavy Ukrainian line of defense is over here. I use this one. This is the next heavy line of defense. And these fortresses icon, these are all individual entrenchments. They are unlinked. They are not one line of defense like the Surovikin line. So these are all individual strongholds, which may or may not help in terms of holding back the Russians, because the Russians could basically penetrate through the center. They can rain TOS-1A, the thermobaric missiles, while they're pushing through. So it's hard to tell. But of course, with the experience from looking at Robotine, it could be useful, because there is a heavy entrenchment south of Robotine that actually works pretty decently for the Ukrainians, although it has already fallen to the Russians right now. So we will continue to monitor, but this breakthrough seems imminent. We will definitely have to take our, put our focus and in this area here, to really take note of this situation over here, because once it breaks, the Russians basically can, let me go back to the last one. They basically can push into the rear positions and basically collapse the entire front line. This is the fear for the Ukrainians, in this area here. So we move on. New York, Ukrainian attacks at New York can be ignored. I don't think it's meaningful. The Russians attack over at the Bakhmut front. Main thing is Kayamsky. The Battle of Kayamsky is going to start to heat up really, really strongly. And this attack towards Dilievka is interesting. Definitely this one is one to watch as well. If this continues to persist, then I think we might see another interesting strategic move from the Russians to basically collapse the entire front line that is actually very established. But we shall wait and see, because the Russians may not always do what I think they do. And the interesting thing is the Crimea and the Svetove front have went quiet. The entire front line is getting quieter and quieter over this area here, with the only attack attorney, which feels more and more half-hearted. We shall see. Svetove is now a dead front, and Kupian's front continues to be this scam. The Ukrainians continue to try to push at Sinkivka for no reasons. The front line never changes over there, and the Russians push at Terbaivka might actually just be a false alarm. The Russians are maybe not really making a serious push. However, the Ukrainians did mention multiple attacks over at the Terbaivka region, so it could just purely be Russians trying to secure the boundaries around Terbaivka. The entire attempt to push for Pishane did not turn out. Maybe the Ukrainians did indeed send enough reinforcement into this area here, which discouraged the Russians from trying. So that could be what's happened. And so that's all. This is the conclusions. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next update.